Hello everyone. Welcome back to Lady Show English. Today, we're going to talk about an important topic that affects all of us, internet outages and technology. This news story helps us understand why these problems might become more serious in the future. Let's get started. Recently, there was a major internet outage caused by Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Many people couldn't schedule doctor's appointments or access their bank accounts. This problem shows us something important. Our internet relies on just a few big companies. And here's the concern: as artificial intelligence becomes more common in our daily lives, these outages could cause even bigger problems. Let me explain this story in simple terms, and along the way, we'll learn some useful English vocabulary and expressions together. First, let's look at the word outage. An outage means a period when a service stops working. We often use this word with electricity or internet services. For example, there was a power outage last night, or the internet outage lasted 3 hours. This is a very useful word in our modern world because technology problems happen quite often. Another important term is cloud services or cloud computing. Now, this doesn't mean actual clouds in the sky. In technology, the cloud refers to storing data and running programs on internet servers instead of on your own computer. Think of it like renting storage space instead of building your own warehouse. Most companies today use cloud services because they're more affordable and flexible. The article uses an interesting phrase, single point of failure. This means one part of a system that, if it breaks, causes everything to stop working. Imagine if a city had only one power station. If that station had problems, the entire city would lose electricity. That's a single point of failure. In this case, when AWS has an outage, many websites and services stop working at the same time because they all depend on AWS. Another useful expression is to rely on something or to be reliant on something. This means to depend on or need something to function properly. For example, we rely on the internet for our work, or many businesses are reliant on cloud computing. The news story tells us that 78% of companies now rely on AI in at least one area of their business. The article uses an interesting phrase, single point of failure. This means one part of a system that, if it breaks, causes everything to stop working. Imagine if a city had only one power station. If that station had problems, the entire city would lose electricity. That's a single point of failure. In this case, when AWS has an outage, many websites and services stop working at the same time because they all depend on AWS. Another useful expression is to rely on something or to be reliant on something. This means to depend on or need something to function properly. For example, we rely on the internet for our work, or many businesses are reliant on cloud computing. The news story tells us that 78% of companies now rely on AI in at least one area of their business. The article uses an interesting sentence structure that we should learn. What if an outage took down the AI tools that doctors were using? This is called a conditional question. It talks about an imaginary situation to help us think about possible problems in the future. We can practice this pattern, what if plus a past tense verb. For example, what if the internet stopped working tomorrow? Or what if we couldn't use our phones for a week? This structure is very useful when discussing possibilities and making predictions. This news connects to a bigger theme, our growing dependency on technology. Let's learn some related vocabulary that you'll hear often in technology discussions. Infrastructure refers to the basic systems and services that a society needs to function. We can talk about physical infrastructure like roads and bridges, or digital infrastructure like internet networks and data centers. Automation means using machines or computers to do work that humans used to do. The article mentions that some companies want AI to automate 75% of warehouse operations. While automation can make things faster and cheaper, it also means we depend more on technology working properly. Disruption is another key word. It means an event that stops normal activities or processes. We might say the outage caused major disruption to online shopping, or bad weather created disruption in transportation services. The article raises an important question. As we use more AI in critical areas like healthcare and banking, what happens when the technology fails? Right now, humans can still step in when computers have problems. But in the future, if AI systems are doing most of the work, we might face more serious difficulties during outages. However, there's also good news. The article mentions that companies are working on solutions. Some are using multiple cloud providers as a backup plan. This means if one system fails, they can switch to another. It's like having spare keys for your house. If you lose one set, you still have another. Other companies are building their own data centers instead of renting space from big providers like AWS. This creates what we call redundancy, which means having backup systems to prevent complete failure. Let's learn some phrases you can use when talking about this topic. When we discuss problems, we might say this raises questions about, or this underscores how important. In the article, we see Monday's outage underscored just how reliant the internet has become on a small number of providers. Underscore means to emphasize or highlight something important. You could say this situation underscores the need for better planning, or the accident underscored the importance of safety rules. Another useful phrase is to make sense. The article says it makes more sense to rent computer space instead of buying expensive equipment. We use this when something is logical or practical. For example, it makes sense to save money for emergencies, or taking the train makes more sense than driving in heavy traffic. This topic relates to our everyday experiences. Think about how often you use cloud-based services, checking email, using social media, streaming videos, or storing photos online. All of these activities depend on data centers run by big technology companies. When we talk about these issues, we can use phrases like in daily life or in the coming years. The article mentions if AI becomes as central to daily life as tech giants suggest it will in the coming years. This is a great sentence structure for talking about future possibilities. Today, we've explored an important technology topic while learning useful English vocabulary and expressions. We've learned words like outage, rely on, and infrastructure. We've also practiced conditional sentences and phrases for discussing future possibilities. Remember, technology vocabulary is essential in today's world. Whether you're traveling, working, or just having conversations, these words will help you discuss modern life in English. Here on Lady Show English, we share news and English lessons about health, food, travel, business, technology, and the environment. We focus on real-world topics that connect to your daily life. If you found this lesson helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson. Thank you for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing your English.